Good morning.
Morning.
Can you please state your full name and then spell your last name?
It's Matthew Ronald Douglas, Douglas.
Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, would you pull your microphone up just a little bit? Thank you
Okay.
very much. Would you tell the jury who you're here to talk about today?
I'm here to talk about my sister, Tammy.
Thank you. Did you prepare a statement?
Yes, I did.
Would you please read that statement at this time?
October 19th, 2019. For me, that is when this tragedy starts. But it is by no means its actual beginning. For me, and my own segment of the Douglas clan, I can speak to the pain that started on that date and how it only grew as more and more things in our lives were upended. To those I speak to, I have come into this ordeal far into the timeline of things and have the thankful luxury of hindsight and having information neatly presented or as neat as life can possibly hand you in these circumstances. You're all on the outside looking in. For those of us directly affected, who you'll hear from or may have already, we're finally getting to let our voices in some capacity finally be heard in a meaningful manner, and we lived it. Often, minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. For my little family, which for a family of 10, who am I kidding? It's not little. And especially for me, it has been a nightmare that you feel never ends. A continual cascading escalation of what's next. Every time I felt I started to grasp an element of control, if such a thing can exist, of my grief over the loss of my oldest sister, something new came along and ripped it open. Hearing from your siblings that your brother-in-law has remarried and kept it from your family weeks after the fact. That's painful. Hearing the day after our family Christmas party, the first without her, that her body had been exhumed, and at the time not knowing the depth of why. That is gut-wrenching. And then the world goes upside down and topsy-turvy further, like you're being caught in a cheap holiday snow globe, thrown about and feeling like everything is obscured. Missing kids? Wait, there were kids? Now my brother-in-law and his new bride have fled from Idaho to Hawaii for what? And everybody at this point knows the evidence presented, the details big and small, many I still can't wrap my head and my heart around. The chain of events more clearly than I need rehash. Things happened so fast. We often learned of things from news or social media before we could be contacted formally by law enforcement. I always felt sorry for the moments that happened to whichever detective or member of the prosecutor's office we'd hear from. Because news moves fast these days, and it is often far outside their control to warn us before we learn of it. From heartless media jackals looking for a sensational story. Thankfully, there's still good people that still exist in that profession too. And as unorthodox as it may seem to find a silver lining and small blessings for, it is kind-hearted, truth-seeking journalists who didn't blindside us and the victims' families or think we were just a quick quote to misuse to their ends. Because finding out things in real time that directly impacted and destroyed your family was never enjoyable. Finding out how much deeper the rabbit hole went in this with no consideration for our pain and the continued impact on us all. I don't wish that on anyone. And yes, I said destroyed because losing Tammy, who to me was the emotional heart and glue of our siblings group, was a slow and steady destruction of elements of our family as we knew it. Mom was so heartbroken that it only seemed to accelerate and compound her chronic health issues, especially her 30-plus year battle with leukemia. We lost her last year, just a little over a week away from now. It'll be a year on June 8th, as she seemed to finally be ready to lay down her proverbial sword and shield after a tumultuous spring of emotions tied to it all. I still remember the last normal conversation I had with her just 3 days before Mother's Day, when she went into the hospital for the last time and then was sent home on palliative hospice care until she passed. Mom isn't here today, and by no means am I her voice in anything, nor is anyone. She was uniquely her own. I can speak to the impact I saw secondhand on her of losing Tammy. We often joked in the last few years that I was her emotional support human because we both understood the things about a life of chronic pain and health issues. In some of our tougher conversations, we were open and honest about how much her being gone affected us. Mom missed her dearly every damn day. I miss her, but not the pain and the heartbreak she was in at the end, because she had long ago earned that reprieve. Tammy's kids cut off contact with a lot of the Douglas side of the family for years after everything, and in some cases still do, in choosing to defend their father. I stand by their freedom to associate. Our freedom to associate is important to us as a society, but it is often a measure of a person by who they choose to or not to associate with. Having them not standing by their mother hurt. If they ever want to rectify that position or reconnect, they know where their uncle lives or how to find out. I'm not hard to find. Family ties were broken. To put it simply, the loss of Tammy revealed true natures and behaviors of family that perhaps previously were dismissed, hidden, or ignored blatantly. This isn't a place of grievances, but to explain the impact losing your sibling's heart and glue has. When masks come off and people are so true and real to themselves, for better or worse, that some recognize that things aren't healthy and it's time to fix that. It's painful creating boundaries with people in your life. Yet you're really raised to believe you should fight like hell to protect and love dearly. But it's also healing, at least on the outside of the boundary, but things will never be the same. And Tylee and JJ, two kids I never knew existed prior to all of this, and to whom me and my family are now forever tied in tragedy to. I have kids close to their ages. To say, even though I'm not related to them, I'm not impacted would be lying. Larry and Kay and all of your family, for me and mine, our hearts have hurt with you. As I've seen yours hurt with ours over Tammy. We've been grateful to the fact without your tireless love for those children, would we even be here now? And you've been a voice for my sister when often others wouldn't have. Thank you.